Okay guys, today we are going to talk about transformations. Now, you have probably all heard of, or at least, you've all seen or at least heard of the movie Transformers. And you know in the movie that the reason it's called Transformers is because things transform. They change, they do different things. So, in transformations, there are three types of transformations that we are going to learn about in 5th grade. And the first type of transformation is a reflection. Now, a reflection is our first type of transformation. Now, what is a reflection? Well, like we've talked about in previous videos, I like to find letters or different keywords within the word that help me. And so with reflection, we're always going to underline the FL in reflection. And we're going to think of that FL as representing the word flip. So in a reflection, something will flip. Now, you've probably heard the word reflection used in like when you were looking in a mirror. And if we think about when we look in a mirror, we think about us looking in a mirror like when we raise our right hand, it looks like we're raising our left. So in a reflection, something is going to flip. So let's say I have this triangle. And let me draw my line that I'm going to transform it over. And if I have this rectangle and I want to reflect it over that line, I have to flip the rectangle upside down. So this is what a reflection would look like because I take my original triangle right here and I flip it over my transformation line and it looks like this. You notice that the size of the triangle did not change. You notice that I didn't change shapes, that it looks exactly the same. That's one thing you're going to have to remember with transformations is that the actual shape has to be congruent to the original shape. Because if I did this and gave you this as a picture, this would not have been a reflection because the top shape did not match the transformed shape. So those would not be a reflection even though it looks like it's flipped. Our second kind of transformation is a rotation. So if you remember in reflection, we underline the FL. Well, in rotation, we're going to underline the T. And the T is going to represent the word turn. So in a rotation, something is going to have to turn. So let's take that triangle that I had earlier, and when I'm going to rotate it, I'm going to take that triangle and I'm going to turn it. And there's my rotation. You see it's the exact same triangle and all it did was turn. This, again, just like before, would not be a rotation because that is a different shape. They're different sizes, so we cannot say that one transformed into the other. Our final transformation that we cover in 5th grade is a translation. Now, reflection, we underline the FL. Rotation, we underline the T. Translation, we are going to underline the SL. And the SL is going to stand for slide. So when we are doing a translation, we have shapes that will slide from one location to another. So I'm going to take that same triangle that I've been using, and when I do a translation, there's a translation. I took the triangle and I slid from point A to point B. Now, that's a translation. The translation could have also looked like this, where it slid straight across. It could have slid straight down. It could have slid up here at an angle. It could have slid over here. The translation, it doesn't have to go a certain direction. It just has to move from point A to point B. And we have to make sure that the shape that we started with is the exact same shape that we end with. Just like in the other transformations, the size or the actual shape cannot change when it moves from one location to another. So looking at the three types of transformations, we have a reflection, which is a flip, where a shape flips over the line, and that can be a reflection. A reflection could also have looked like this, where I take the shape right here, and if I had this as my transformation line, and then I were to take it over here, that would have been a reflection as well because it flipped over the line. Then we have a rotation, which is a turn, and we know that the shape has to turn and it cannot change its size. It has to be the same size as it was before. And we have a translation, which is a slide, where the shape moves from one point to another point.